Percentage of vaccinated people in a new Kaiser Family Foundation poll, just 54%. Also lagging Republicans at 58% of the more than 1,500 people surveyed. About a third of those people said a mandate was a major reason they got vaccinated. 1 in 5 said it was because their employer required a shot. On the topic of boosters, 2/3 say it means scientists are finding new ways to make the vaccine more effective, but a third say they show the vaccines are not working as well as promised. Brian Clark, ABC News.
New York State requiring all healthcare workers to be vaccinated or they'll be terminated as of today. And a new circuit court has determined that the mandate for New York City school teachers can proceed. A vote on raising the debt ceiling and keeping the government funded fails, and the Senate votes on infrastructure will come this week as former President Obama weighs in on that.
Of President Biden's way to pay for better roads, bridges, and protection from wildfires and floods.
Anybody who pretends that it's a hardship for billionaires to pay a little bit more in taxes so that a single mom gets child care support,
says President Obama to ABC's Robin Roberts, that argument
is unsustainable.
He says the wealthy
have benefited incredibly over the last several decades, and even in the midst of a pandemic.
His Obama Center will open on Chicago's South Side. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Singer and producer R. Kelly could face life in prison after he was found guilty of numerous sex crimes. Kelly's childhood friend and former bodyguard, Jem Pratt's on his victims.
They're hurting and still battling this 20 years later. You know, it's almost like a form of PTSD.
You're listening to ABC News.
Oil drilling investments involve a high degree of risk and are only suitable for SEC-accredited investors. Attention high net worth investors. Oil and gas investments have always been an ideal tax advantage and have been a way to invest and take a 100% write-off. The new administration is threatening to take this away. Take advantage now before it's too late. Invest in domestic oil drilling for a full tax credit this year. When you invest in oil, you get a 100% tax write-off. The pent-up demand from the pandemic has created the perfect storm for oil prices to soar. Support domestic U.S. oil and natural gas drilling and make your patriotic investment to get a complete 100% tax deduction write-off. If you are liquid for a $100,000 investment, call Encore Energy at 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691. 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
The FBI is now taking the lead in the search for Brian Laundrie, still missing after the death of fiancée Gabby Petito during their cross-country trip. Investigators have been looking through a 25,000-acre nature preserve in southern Florida, but that search is now being scaled back. Also in Florida, in Orlando, the case of 19-year-old Maya Marcano, missing since Friday, has taken an unexpected turn.
When a man police described as a person of interest, Armando Manuel Caballero, was found dead from an apparent suicide. Caballero was a maintenance man at the same apartment complex where Marcano works. Authorities say Caballero entered Marcano's apartment with a maintenance-issued key 30 minutes before she finished her shift, and they say he had no work-related reason to enter.
That's ABC's Megan Trevrezian. The man who tried to kill President Ronald Reagan in 1981 is being granted an unconditional release. John Hinckley Jr. is now 66 years old and could be let go by next summer after his lawyer successfully argued that his client no longer poses a threat. ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
In response, Ronald Reagan's daughter, Patty Davis, writing, "I don't believe that John Hinckley feels remorse. Narcissists rarely do. He and his attorney have worked the system from the beginning, and finding a judge who was sympathetic to them made this day inevitable."
And the Ronald Reagan Foundation is pushing the Justice Department to try to reverse that judge's decision. This is ABC News.
There are a lot of exciting things happening this fall, and I want to focus on what's important, not on what's for dinner. Luckily, HelloFresh delivers everything I need, and it's 30% cheaper than grocery shopping. The quick and easy recipes are perfect for weeknights, and we're all busy, but with HelloFresh, I actually have time to enjoy my meals. Go to HelloFresh.com/Deja14 and use code Deja14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. That's code Deja14 for 14 free meals at HelloFresh.com/Deja14.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the list.
We're tracking a weak cold front that will slip to the south. That is going to allow us to see a few showers today, but ahead of it, our temperatures are going to surge. It's going to feel like a nice summer day with highs heading into the mid to upper 80s. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 50s and 60s tomorrow. We're going to see our temperatures range from the upper 70s and lower 80s to the upper 80s to the south. As that cold front makes its way through, we're going to see those temperatures fall. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We're starting out at 55 degrees this morning, warming up nicely to about 85 around here, according to Peter the meter reader, and dropping back tonight for our tonight's low, about 56, about where we are again right now. Beautiful sunny skies and warm days coming up. No rain in the forecast for the next 5 days. Now I have these death announcements. Danny Weaver, age 47 of Rutherfordton, died Thursday, September 23rd at Spartanburg Regional Medical Center. Graveside service will be conducted at 4 o'clock today at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. The family will receive friends following the graveside service at the cemetery. Social distancing and masks will be required. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Danny Weaver. Carol Randolph-Jones, 67 of Bostic, died Wednesday, September 22nd at Adrian Health in Shelby. A visitation will be held from 5 until 8 Thursday, September 30th at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home for Carol Randolph-Jones of Bostic. Jasmine Marie Dixon, 33, passed away at Rutherford Regional Medical Center on Wednesday, September 22nd. A celebration of Jasmine's life will be held by her family and friends at a later date. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Jasmine Dixon. Linda Marie Grabowski, age 66 of Spindale, died Thursday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A memorial service will be held at 2 o'clock Saturday, October the 9th at Mount Vernon Baptist Church. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 prior to the service in the sanctuary of the church. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Linda Marie Grabowski. Spencer Wayne Davis, 71 of Bostic, died Saturday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for Spencer Davis. Frida Mae Brown Paget, 78 of Bostic, died Saturday, September the 25th. A graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at First Baptist Church, Bostic Cemetery. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for Frida Mae Brown Paget. Jimmy Rhodes, age 60 of Henrietta, passed away Saturday, September 25th at Adrian Health, Cleveland and Shelby. A private celebration of life for the family will be held at a later date, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services will be in charge of that for Jimmy Rhodes. Tracy Bradley Carkeys, age 50 of Rutherfordton, passed away Sunday, September 26th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A memorial service will be conducted at 6 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service entrusted with those arrangements for Tracy Bradley Carkeys. Arsemus Joe Wilson, age 75 of Big Island Road, Rutherfordton, died Friday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A celebration of life of Joe Wilson will be held Friday, October the 1st at Crow's Funeral Home from 3 until 5. Military honors will be provided by the Rutherford County Veterans Honor Guard. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Joe Wilson. Rebecca Becky Keever Skipper, age 49 of Rutherfordton, passed away Saturday, September 25th at Cherokee Medical Center in Gaffney. The family will receive friends from 3 until 4 Tuesday, September the 28th at Grays Creek Baptist Church. The funeral service will be at Grays Creek Baptist Church at 4 o'clock today. And the family requests that all attending wear a mask for safety. The family will be at the home of Stephen Donna and Mike Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of those arrangements for Becky Keever Skipper. James Cleveland Wright died 26th of September at Cleveland Pines Nursing Home. He was formerly from Forest City. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later by Pruitt Funeral Home. Again, that's James Cleveland Wright.
Capital are wanting to diversify the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Tuesday over the weekend, I was up in Boston watching the Sox play the Yankees with the playoffs looming. Now, the rivalry between New York and Boston is a great American tradition. And since I have ties to both cities, I'm kind of caught. So I did not openly root. I stayed silent during the game, posing for pictures with those in the crowd at Fenway Park, perhaps the best baseball stadium in the world. Now, the game itself was tremendous, a close, intense contest with Giancarlo Stanton hitting a 452-foot home run, channeling Babe Ruth, who started with the Boston Red Sox back in the early 20th century. The whole experience was a thrill and a reminder that the United States of America is a unique place with unique traditions and goodwill. There were no problems at Fenway, and there were a lot of Yankee fans there. But there weren't brawls like we sometimes see between the Giants and Dodgers on the West Coast. Anyway, goodwill was in the air at this intense rivalry. And I want you in your life to grab some of that goodwill. You'll be a happier person. Now this. Folks, I'm sure you've noticed everything's getting more expensive, and with all this printing of money, I'm concerned the dollar's end could be near. That's why it's never been more important to consider gold and silver. And American Hartford Gold is the only company I trust. So please call now and tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you for up to $1,500 of free silver on your first order. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters and mom and dad and grandpa and grandma need them.
Thank you, first responders.
This is what I signed up for as a first responder. I am constantly worried about being exposed to this virus and potentially bringing it back to my home and my family. I'm going to continue going to work day in and day out and providing help to those that need it.
We look out for the helpers because they look out for us. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Love you. Mwah.
Be safe, look after yourself, and look after one another. Thanks.
Learn how you can help first responders in your community by texting BRAVE to 24365.
Wild Bill Hickok was tall and athletic, and his skill with his pistols was well known. As with Bat Masterson and Wyatt Earp, Wild Bill had the ability to intimidate a person just by giving him that look. According to one observer, Hickok would stand with his back to the wall looking at everything and everybody under his eyebrows just like a mad old bull. In 1869, the people of Hays City, located in Ellis County, Kansas, were having problems with drunken buffalo hunters and soldiers who were taking over the town each evening. To solve the problem, in the fall of that year, they had a special election and voted in Wild Bill as interim county sheriff. Just a few days after becoming sheriff, Wild Bill had a confrontation with a drunken soldier and ended up shooting and killing him. It raised a few local citizens' eyebrows. But after all, they hired him to keep the law, and that was exactly what he was doing. Then just after midnight on September 27, Wild Bill and a deputy were called to handle a disturbance created by Samuel Strotham and some of his friends. When Hickok arrived and ordered the men to disperse, Strotham came at Wild Bill. Wild Bill pulled his gun and shot Strotham in the head, killing him instantly. And a little over a month after becoming sheriff, the locals were beginning to wonder if they had made a mistake in electing Wild Bill as county sheriff. As a result, when it came time for the regular elections 3 months later, the locals kicked him out by a vote of 144 to 89. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Ruthverton. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Sounds good to me. 16 minutes now past 7. Let's head to the phones, find out what's been going on around the neighborhood in the past 24 hours or so. Our first stop this morning is with Sheriff Chris Francis at the Sheriff's Office. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. I hope you are.
I am doing well. You had asked me last week about Savannah Dawn Hobbs. She's a 17-year-old that was reported missing earlier this summer. Savannah was in foster care and only spent about a little less than a day in Rutherford County. The detective did speak to her social worker as well as a relative and believe that she's possibly back in Gaston County where she's from. Some relatives that do not have custody of her may be hiding her out, or she's possibly with her boyfriend, Tim Stevens of Gaston County. But I do appreciate you asking. One of those odd situations where she's reported missing from here but has no ties to Rutherford County, but we will continue to work with those folks in Gaston County to make sure she is safe.
Thank you for that report.
Yes, sir. In other news, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 175 calls to service. There have been 14 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 220. Those arrested, Daniel Roy Ledford, 51-year-old male of Rutten, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,500 secure bond. Brandy Brianne Laughlin, 23-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to appear, driving while license revoked, and on a true bill, and received a $1,500 secure bond. Oliver Ray Parton, 47-year-old male of Morganton, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,500 secure bond. Thomas Lee Hipp, 32-year-old male of Ruston, was charged with failure to appear in a true bill, received a $2,000 secure bond. Samantha Rose Oswald, 35-year-old female of Fingerville, South Carolina, was charged with possession of heroin, driving while license revoked, failure to appear, and received a $4,000 secure bond. Larry Justin Boykins, 28-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with true bill and received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michelle Renee Wilson, 50-year-old female of Rutzen, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $20,000 secure bond. Andrew Curtis Creech, 39-year-old male of Harmony, North Carolina, was charged with possession of controlled substance in prison and was returned to prison. Addie Marie Browning, 19-year-old female of Ruston, was charged with assault, injury to property, received a $1,500 secure bond. Crystal Michelle Bailey, 43-year-old female of Spindale, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 unsecured bond. Billy Joe Cosby, 33-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with 10 counts of failure to appear and received a $30,500 secured bond. And then we had obtained property by false pretense on Ferry Road. Someone, or the victim, allowed the suspect access to their account to invest in bitcoins, allowed them to take $200, but they took over $2,000 in that scheme and took that money. And, Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff, thank you very much for that report, and thank you for being available for us. And you be safe out there. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. 20 after 7.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
And here is Jessica with the report from 911 Communications Center. Jessica, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 466 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 45 EMS calls, 12 for rescue. Law enforcement Sheriff's Office responded to 192, Varsity to 78, Lake Lure to 9, Rutherford to 53, Spindale to 49. Fire calls, SDA responded to a residential fire alarm, and Spindale responded to an industrial fire alarm. And that's all we've got today.
Thanks, Jessica. Have a good day.
You too.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. And we're going over to the SDO Fire District now. That's Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland community, and get a report from their activities from Ruby Taylor this morning. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on your report?
The fire department had one call, and it was to a residential fire alarm. And the birthday calendar, Joe Bright, Betty Marr, Jake Bright, Tinker Ficklin, Ronnie Aldridge is all having birthdays, and Mr. and Miss Eddie Tony's having an anniversary. And hope all these people have a nice day, and the signs are in the breast today and tomorrow. And that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Have a good Tuesday.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's Ruby reporting over there. Next phone call going up to talk with Gary Wilson. Congratulations to Kennedy Ruff. She was named the winner of the Distinguished Young Woman at the foundation on Saturday night. 10 local high school seniors competed in the Distinguished Young Woman Rutherford County program. In the end, Kennedy Ruff was named the winner and will compete now in the Distinguished Young Woman North Carolina program. She is a senior at RS Central High School, and her talent is dance. Now let's head up toward the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. And Gary Wilson, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
I am doing well. Another beautiful morning. Another beautiful
day. Looks like
it is
coming up.
Yes, I love it.
Got about 81 yesterday. They're saying about 85 today, but that still ain't bad. Got the September lull going on. Things pretty quiet up on this end of the county, and said about 56 degrees this morning. Feels really good out there. Clear skies. Look like we're going to have a pretty day coming up. No fire calls the last 24 hours for us or Bills Creek, I don't believe. So we're quiet and good to go up in here this morning.
All right. I appreciate
Just waiting on that leaf change.
Well, it'll, what do you think? End of this month or?
Yeah, probably late October.
October.
It'll be our best time most of the time. Hope we have a good season this year. We didn't have much color last year.
Yeah. That'll bring a lot of tourists into the area looking at leaves.
Sure will. Yeah. We can always handle them.
That's right. Gary, thank you for your report, and you be safe up there, and I'll see you next time.
Talk to you then.
Thanks. Gary Wilson reporting in this morning, 24 now past 7. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. And we're over to Boston next. DeVern, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing well. You sound like you're well and happy this morning.
I'm very happy.
Good, good.
It's a nice, cool morning over here this morning. We got 54 degrees. Things are quiet in Boston. No medical calls, no fire calls. The weather looks like it's going to be nice this week, and we would like to invite people to come out and check our Boston Park out. We have some new equipment for the kids to play on. Also, the sidewalks are paved. There's a nice new sign for the park in memory of Max Gunner, thanks to our town council.
Well, that's great. I'm sure there's still a little bit of activity around the Lincoln Memorial over there, isn't there?
Oh, yes, Lincoln. And just come over and check us out here in Boston.
All right, it's a beautiful little town.
It is.
So everything nice and quiet, so we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Same to you.
Thank you. Bye. Get the clubs out, dust them off, and join the Fall Classic Golf Tournament sponsored by the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber always puts on a good tournament, and Friday, October the 15th, you can be a part of another one. It will be at the beautiful Cleghorn Golf Club. Registration starts at 11. Shotguns start at 12 noon. Box lunches will be provided. It is captain's choice, and the Chamber is restricted to the first 36 teams signing up and paying. Make your checks payable to RC Chamber of Commerce, $300 per team. Phone 828-287-3090 to sign up. This could be your time to win the tournament. Call today, 828-287-3090. Now 26 after the hour, Tuesday morning. Let's head up to the Bob Hodge mansion up there on Hudlow and see what's happening out there. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Tuesday morning.
How you doing?
We're doing just fine on this morning up here. Things are looking good so far this morning.
Good.
It looks like that sun's going to come up and warm up again after a while. We've been having some nice days, so that's good. And, Jim, with the fire department, it's been quiet overnight. We hadn't had any fire calls. I want to say happy birthday to Ken Cook this morning. Also, me and Jean's wedding anniversary today.
All right.
And that's about it up here.
Well, you going to take her to get her a McDonald's hamburger or something today to celebrate, or?
Well, we might there. We've got to be careful where we go out now, so it's, about getting out and everything.
Yeah, well, if you kiss each other, you have to use the mask, and you just keep the mask on and kiss her through the mask.
Yeah, I don't know where we can. Reckon we could suck a milkshake through a mask there.
You probably could, Bob.
It probably filtered it out good, wouldn't it? There.
I tell you what, I saw some time back. I think I mentioned it months ago. Downtown Forest City, I saw a man coming up the street. He had a mask on, and he had a little hole in the mask, and he was smoking a cigarette through that hole in his mask. So
if he can do that, maybe we can eat a milkshake through that.
I believe you could. Well, listen, happy anniversary to you and Imogene. I hope you have many, many more.
Well, thank you, and you have a good day, Jim.
Thanks, Bob. See ya.
Bye-bye.
29 after 7. A great couple up there. Love to talk with Bob and Imogene both. They do serve the community well for many, many years and now celebrating an anniversary.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Let's see if things are nice and quiet over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District, and we'll check in with Sue Price to find out for sure. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
You looking good this morning?
Beautiful morning over here.
Good.
I'm just enjoying these pretty days we're having. Nice fall weather. Let's see, I didn't have any calls from the fire department. They've been quiet, and that's a good thing. Don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Bob and I'm a Jean Hodge, so happy anniversary to that couple. Hope they'll have a good day today. And let's see, First Broad has a birthday for Nick Early. We wish Nick a happy birthday. And don't have anything on Fairviews for today, so not too many celebrating, but we hope anybody's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And they've got a pretty weather for it, but like Bob said, it's kind of iffy about getting out these days. But anyway, we hope everybody will have a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You enjoy your day as well, and I will see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 7:31.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
All right, we're stopping in this morning to drop in over in Bostic. Family Mart there, and Gene's on the phone to give us an update from what's happened over there. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Just fine.
Working hard?
Yeah. We got country ham sliced this morning, and Jess has got bologna and biscuits and gravy and bacon. Coffee is freshly brewed. So tell everybody to come on out and get their big breakfast.
You love that gravy, don't you, Gene?
Oh, yeah, that gravy that catches up with me, though, Jim. Nothing like some good sausage gravy.
I know. Good little hot biscuit.
Biscuit, yeah. Get some country ham, put a slab of tomato on there. Ooh, that's good southern living, isn't it?
You're talking my kind of talk now.
Yes, sir. Come on by and check out the meat counter and see what we got. It changes from day to day. And how you like this cool weather, Jim?
I'm loving it. I hope it continues for a while.
I'm sure it will. And then just come on by and browse. The gun club's going to be in this week, so we'll get a little extra business. And the deli's going to be closing today at 2 on the count of we're still trying to find some help, Jim.
Yeah. Closing at 2 today. Just the deli. The store will be open, though.
Yeah, the store will be open. The deli will be closing today at 2, yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, Gene, I appreciate you being on with us, and I hope you folks can find some help real soon and so you can carry on and do the thing you do so well over there.
Thank you, Jim, and y'all have a good day.
See you now. Bye.
All right, bye.
That's Gene reporting from the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic. We could always find a good breakfast. 33 minutes after 7, we have 55 degrees. Currently, beautiful day to wake up to here at the Foothills. And we thank you for joining us for the morning wake-up call. Thank you for letting us shake you awake in the mornings and keep you informed and hopefully entertained and inspired maybe. We'll get to our next phone call right after this.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
It's 7:34. Our Friday night game of the week this week is going to be Chase at Hendersonville, and there's a lot of talk right now about that Chase High School football team. Boy, they're doing some wonderful things there, and we'll see how that game goes on Friday night as we follow them up the mountain to Hendersonville. Join us for that for a 7 o'clock countdown and 7:30 kickoff. Now let's head up towards Shingle Hollow, find Tina White, see what she's up to this morning. Good morning.
Good morning from Shingle Hollow.
How you doing?
I am doing great. I'm telling you, I love the music this morning. It just sets my day up for worship all day.
Well, wonderful.
And of course, Zacchaeus is my song, and I love to hear that.
That is a great little song.
I said, turn it up, Nevaeh. They're playing Zacchaeus. Oh, well, it's 56 degrees on the front porch this morning. Both Shingle Hollow and Green Hill Fire Departments were all quiet the past 24 hours. Thankful for that. No birthdays on the church calendars. On my personal calendar, I have Miss Connie Chappell. I hope she has a great birthday. Announcements, Saturday, October 9th from 2 p.m. until the White House Community Clubhouse is having a family fun day, and it's free to everyone. You can bring your whole family, young and old. There will be bouncy houses, cornhole, face painting, volleyball, sack races, free popcorn and cotton candy, a bluegrass band, and then starting at 4 p.m. there will be barbecue plates for $6 if anybody wants that, and possibly hay rides too. So they said to come join in, and that is at White House Community Clubhouse on Saturday, October 9th from 2 p.m. until.
How long has it been since you participated in the sack race?
Many years. I used to love to do that. We would do it at church, and then, of course, on field day, Sunshine Elementary School, we would do those sack races. It was so much fun. They did it out at South Mountain Christian Camp this summer. My daughter liked it too, and it was fun to watch those kids.
I like to see kids have fun like that, the original way.
Yes. Okay, and then on Saturday, October 16th, Mountain Creek Baptist Church is having a barbecue, pulled pork barbecue with baked beans, hush puppies, potato salad, barbecue slaw, and homemade desserts. And that is from 4 to 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 16th at Mountain Creek Baptist Church. And then on October 16th, Green Hill Baptist Church is having a community yard sale, and they want to invite everyone, 8 a.m. to 12. If you would like to sell some stuff and set up a table, you can contact Rosemary at 289-4885. And then I got another call last night from a friend of mine from Union Mills. They're having a fall fest in the Mills at the Union Mills Learning Center at 6495 Hudlow Road on October 30th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be 60-plus vendors, food trucks, family fun. She says, come out and support small businesses and shop local.
And where's that going to be?
At the Learning Center.
Learning Center, okay.
Union Mills Learning Center on the 30th from 9 to 2. And I want to say happy anniversary to Bob and Imogene. I hope they have a wonderful day. And I think they can take their mask off to smooch a little since it's their anniversary.
I hope so. I hope they will.
Well, Jim, you have a great day. Thank you for playing such great music, and thank you for doing this community call around. I love to hear everybody talk.
Thanks, Tina. I appreciate you being on with us. You have a wonderful day.
You too, and be safe, everybody.
Bye. That's Tina White reporting out of Shingle Hollow. 39 minutes after 7. We got a couple more calls to make. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled Aryee. All right, I believe it's safe now for us to head up the mountain to Union Mills to get in touch with Brenda Kelly and to get her report. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself on this terrific Tuesday morning?
I am fine and dandy.
I'm glad to hear it. We hope everybody is. Let's see, I've got 52 degrees on the front porch, birthdays and anniversaries. I've just got Bob and Ima Jean Hodge anniversary, so I hope they have a great old big day. And he lives right there in the front door of the Mount Vernon cupboard, and he could just go out there and get him a hot dog or a pizza or a barbecue sandwich and bring it back and eat it. Wouldn't have to worry a whole lot about being around a lot of people.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
And celebrate their anniversary, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hope he'll do that.
But we hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see in ways of announcements on Friday, October the 1st. I believe that's right. Yeah. Randy Flack will be at the Union Mills Learning Center, and the music begins at 7 p.m., and they have a meal available. That begins at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And other than that, I don't have nothing. It's just short, sweet, and quiet.
All right, Brenda. You got big plans today?
Not really. Just another day in the neighborhood.
Another day in the neighborhood.
That's right, and I'm just glad to be alive.
Amen. I'm with you there.
There you go. So you've been working out some, huh?
I have started back, yes.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
I try to walk some every day. I hadn't been back over to the trails, but I'm planning on getting back over there pretty soon.
Yeah, I see a lot of folks over there to Lifestyle when I go over there. Always good to chat with them a few minutes, as long as they don't interrupt me too long. I want to keep working out. If I get stopped, I might not want to start back.
I hear you. But you better go check on Luke the Sweet Thing and see if everything's all right in Ellenboro.
Thanks, Brenda. I'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
All right, bye.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Now we're going to Ellenboro, North Carolina, US of A, and we'll check in on Luther Gilligan, the man who keeps his eye on things for us in Ellenboro. Reports to us about the fires and the wrecks, and I believe I see my light flashing now, so we'll welcome Luther Gilligan to the radio this morning. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great down here, watching the sun come up. Going to be another beautiful day.
Are you off your sugar high now? You settled back down from your sugar high?
It probably takes several days. I've not checked my blood sugar lately.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it right now.
No, I wait until about Saturday to do it. It may be up a little bit. Of course, woman gave me a big old piece of cake last night, and then she gave me two pieces of cake, one an apple, one lemon pound cake.
Oh my goodness!
So I'll work on that. That's sort of drop off easy there. I don't want to come to a abrupt stop.
Right. No cold turkey.
Yeah, I got to tether off of that, you know. But it's a good morning down here, though. It's quiet this morning. Nothing going on. Well, yeah, too. Fire department's out on call now. Robert had to go out, so he's busy this morning. Other than that, nothing else going on. Didn't have anything yesterday and last night. I bet I got that one this morning. Other than that, everything's going good down here, so you have a great day up there. We'll see what happens today. Tell you about it tomorrow.
Is that a wreck call or house fire they're out on that right now?
I think it was medical call. I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just heard him go out.
A lot of those.
All right, find out what it is when I get out of there.
All right, dude. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
You take care.
Bye. Luther Gilligan reporting in from Ellensboro. That leaves us time to celebrate your birthday. On the 28th of September, this month's about gone, 28th of September, if you're celebrating a birthday or anniversary, we'd love to hear from you. Just call Todd now at 287-3356. We've cleared the phone lines. Wide open spaces now for you to call your birthdays in. And we'll give you a big shout out here in a few minutes. Birthdays and anniversaries are coming up.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Of course, it's donut time. It's 7:45. Granny B's open 6:30 now, early enough on Tuesday through Saturday to get you time to get in, get your donut and coffee on the way to work. So why don't you do that? Swing in there right now and get some donuts, those delicious daylight donuts. Meantime, think about Granny B's pizza combo for lunch or dinner this evening. Yeah, Granny B's pizza combo. You choose from 13 different combinations. What's your prep? Order online if you like. You can call 286-9012 for dinner or supper tonight. You'll never go back to the others once you've had one of Granny B's combo pizzas. 13 different combinations. And save room for one of those Granny B's delicious daylight donuts. Happy birthday. I want to wish a happy birthday to Catherine Dyer over in Ellenboro. Catherine is 88 today. Scott Campbell over in Shiloh Community is 52. And at Dalton and Rutherfordton's having a birthday today. And we want to give another big shout out to Bob and Imogene Hodge on their anniversary today. So happy anniversary to you. And happy birthday to all these other folks. May it be the best one you've ever had. Coming up in just a few moments. Well, I got to get more coffee in my blood, I tell you. Coming up in just a few moments, Keys to Confident Living. And Andrew Tisdale doing top of the hour this morning. 9:05 today is My Great America with Jim and Butch.
God gave instructions for the priest to bless the people this way. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Many of you have heard those verses spoken at weddings, baby baptisms, or dedications, or at the close of a service. But do you actually believe what the verse says? In my book, Divine Benedictions, God's Grace for Us, I share how these words were given by God to the children of Israel when they were discouraged, emotionally drained, and given to despair. God wanted them to know that he was for them and not against them. He wanted them to see the smile on his face and the look of pride that he had for them. The same is true for you, if you can accept it. Too often we see the look of disgust and failure, when that is not at all what God wants us to see. Today, I want to encourage you to see a smile on God's face, a look of joy in his eyes, and your picture on his refrigerator door. And this is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. I have written several books which are available by calling 1-888-333-KEYS, or one of my newest books is Divine Benedictions and can be purchased at keyministries.net or by calling 1-888-333-KEYS.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Vaccine mandates begin to go into effect at workplaces nationwide, including throughout the largest school district in the country. A U.S. Circuit Court ruling this week that New York City's rule can move forward, which means, according to ABC's Lucy Yang,
by next Monday, every employee stepping into a school building must be vaccinated, which leaves this school safety agent out of a job.
I believe we should have a choice in what we decide to put in our body.
Officials report 7,000 employees got vaccinated over the weekend.
Healthcare workers across New York State also required to get the shot. ABC's Ann Flaherty.
A lot of the problems come with the less skilled workers, the cafeteria workers, the orderlies, people that are supporting the nursing staff. Incredibly important jobs to keep a hospital going, but they might be easier to fill than some of those more skilled workers.
A new Kaiser Family Foundation poll finds 7 in 10 American adults eligible have now been vaccinated. Reaction to R&B superstar R. Kelly's conviction on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams.
I don't think that R. Kelly will ever be a free man in his life. And I think that's a combination of whatever sentence he gets here and the fact that he's facing state and federal charges in Illinois, in addition to charges in Minnesota.
Top Pentagon leaders appearing on Capitol Hill today to answer questions about the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan and other issues. Former President Barack Obama in an exclusive interview with GMA's Robin Roberts discussing the $3.5 trillion social bill being pushed by Democrats in Congress, says he's in favor of it.
You're talking about us stepping up and spending money on providing child care tax credits, making those permanent to help families who for a long time have needed help.
That whole interview airing on ABC's Good Morning America. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Investigators are still trying to figure out why an Amtrak train running through Montana derailed over the weekend, killing 3 people, leaving several more hurt, including 7 hospitalized. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman on the scene says so far nothing definitive.
They've got video on board that they're examining frame by frame at this point. There are videos from other trains. There's a black box which has told them that the train was actually traveling under the speed limit, about 75 to 78 miles an hour in a 79 zone.
In the wake of Texas passing its ban on virtually any abortion past 6 weeks, ABC's Jim Ryan says a clinic just over the border has a parking lot full of cars with Texas plates.
At the Trust Women Clinic in Oklahoma City, the handwriting on the wall was in the form of legislation prohibiting abortions in Texas after a fetal heartbeat is detected.
We've been preparing for this as best we can.
The clinic's Rebecca Tong says that just before the Texas law took effect on September 1st, the facility started seeing a rush of patients from Oklahoma's southern neighbor. In a perfect world, she says,
we would open the clinic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and see as many people as we could.
Now some Oklahoma lawmakers plan to introduce legislation that mirrors the Texas law. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
New Jersey is looking to get more people back to work. The state is offering to kick in an extra $500 pay for people who return to work. The state's offering small businesses thousands of dollars to help pay for new hires. This is ABC News.
If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. More breakthrough cases of COVID variants show that vaccinated people are still vulnerable to the deadly disease. Monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever. Protect yourself and your family with the Exergen temporal scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're tracking a weak frontal boundary. It could spark some showers into the afternoon and evening, but for the most part, we're going to notice our big temperature changes. Highs will head into the mid to upper 80s today. It's going to feel like summer. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 50s and 60s. We do have those temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to the lower 80s and upper 80s tomorrow. As the cold front moves through, we're going to see a transition with our temperatures. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, I tell you, we got beautiful weather for the next few days. I don't think anybody will be unhappy about that. No rain, the temperature is mild, and right now we're at 56 degrees. Warming up today for a daytime high around 85, dropping back to about where we are tonight, right now for tonight's overnight low. It's 8:05. You're listening to best radio station in the foothills, WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. From right here, beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. It's Tuesday morning, and it's Andrew Tisdale Day here in the Blue Room, and we've got him tied down right here to talk to us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
Good.
Well, if you actually broadcast all the way to the eastern part, would you not say that it's the best in the state?
Yeah, if we went that far. Well,
you went
we
that
do
far.
by our YouTube that we could travel all around the country.
In the world?
Yes.
So why don't you just...
Best in the world.
Why don't you just say that?
Well, I don't want to brag too much.
Well, you're very humble, and we appreciate that.
Before we get started on your program, let's talk about the golf tournament coming up.
Yes, sir. So, October 16th, there's going to be a shotgun start at the Far City Golf Course at 1:30. There is a golf tournament. Actually, we're doing it for the athletic program there at East Rutherford High School. Now, you're talking about the best in the world.
Yes.
How many golf tournaments are around here that you could actually possibly win $30,000?
Not many.
Not many. Now, if you're a good golfer, come try. That's all I can say. Just come try. And we only have a certain number of spots. So, you know, if you really think you can win $30,000, which I hope you do, I really do, then come try and see it. Let me know. You know, you can email me, you can call me, you can call East. Don't bother them too much, but it's for them.
It's good to live in optimism and optimistic that we might win that money.
Well, that's right. And the good news is the first place team's going to win money, the second place team's going to win money, the third place team's going to win money, and somebody could walk away with $25,000 or $2,500 or $30,000.
They've just done some work on that golf course over in Forest City, so it should be in good shape.
Yes, and I like to think optimistically it's because of the tournament.
It could be.
It could be. It could be. They know that it's going to be a big event, and we just want to invite anybody out. It's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to get done before dark. If you sign up and you come play, again, you get a chance to win something pretty big, but you're also going to get a meal, and you're going to have a lot of fellowship. Good. And it's helping a really good cause.
So you play the 9 holes twice. You'll run the 9 holes twice?
Yes, one will be white and one will be blue.
Okay.
There's also round-trip airline tickets available. There's a big flat-screen TV available.
Wow.
There's, it takes some skill. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be just handed to you. You gotta earn it.
Well, think optimistically, right?
Do it. Just do it.
What else you got on your mind today?
We've been talking about financial planning and how insurance can be a big part of your financial plan. So here's a question I want to ask. Should I buy term and invest the difference, or should I buy permanent? If you have children or other loved ones who depend upon you financially, you do need life insurance. There's no question about it. So here's where you need to make the decision on. I am 35. I've got 3 kids like I had. I still do. I've got a house payment. I've got a couple of car payments. As a matter of fact, if I sit down and I look at what my life insurance needs, how am I going to figure that out? Well, number one, it's actually called income replacement. That's what life insurance really is. It's income replacement. So how much do you need to pay off all of those outstanding debts, like your mortgage, your house payment, any credit card bills, anything like that? And also, think about it from your spouse's standpoint. How much do you depend upon 2 solid incomes? If you depend upon that, how much do they need to actually adjust to now not having you in the picture? If you need more than you can afford as far as permanent insurance, that's the idea about term. Well, then you can invest the difference. That is a big key factor. Buy term, invest the difference. Here's another question you do have to ask yourself. Do I have the discipline to invest that difference? If you do, that's a great decision. Now, I want to jump ahead far along into the time where you're about to retire. Remember, life insurance is income replacement. A lot of times we don't take in consideration, if I were to pass away, my spouse is going to lose one of our Social Security checks. If I'm making $1,000 in Social Security and my spouse is making $800, when I pass away, $800 is going to go away. How is that going to affect my wife? How is that going to affect my spouse? What do I need as far as life insurance in that standpoint to get them across that opportunity, that position? Or what if they pass away? I'm still going to lose $800. You're going to lose the smaller check. So sit down and think about how much is that going to impact me. Now, if I am 70 years old, do I need term life insurance? Because what if I live to 90 and they only offer me a 10-year term? You're still in that same boat. So that might be an opportunity to look at some sort of long-term permanent insurance. There's so many different variables out there, and this does not fit everybody the same way. There's different positions for everyone. It's not cookie cutter. Sit down, take time to talk about it, and look through what it really needs. Because if I'm young and I'm trying to build my estate, I don't want a catastrophic event to cause me not to get there. If I'm in the stages of retirement and preserving what I've done, I don't want it to just go away because of a catastrophic event. And it may be that one is better than the other one for you. We don't know till we sit down and talk about it.
Well, if you're like me, all of that insurance talk and all those other things, and it's confusing to me. That's why I have to advise you to find somebody like Andrew Tisdale to talk about it, answer those questions for you, because it gets confusing. And he's available at 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. You can phone him on the phone, one of those ding-a-lings at 828-287-9197, and he can answer those questions, because I get confused when those kind of things come up on my paperwork, and I look at it, I don't understand what this is all about. That's why I'm glad you're available.
That's right. Ours goes ring, ring, ring. We'll answer it.
Andrew Jones here this morning. Happy to have you. Come back again next week.
See you next week.
See you. Have a great day. All right, bye-bye. And we got news from here and there coming up here right after this.
There are so many insurance agencies here and there, but to find a dependable agency that you can trust, that would be Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency. They are your full-service agency offering auto, business, homeowners, health, and life. Maxwell B. Hamrick is an independent insurance agent. Call them today at 286-2384. They care about their customers, and it shows. They're located at 119 Huntley Street in Spindale. Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency, serving one satisfied customer at a time.
Well, some news from here and there. The Bassmaster Southern Open in Cornelius, local guy Cody Hoyle of Rutherford won the tournament. September the 27th, Cody Hoyle of Rutherford had the winning three-day total during the BassPro.com Bassmaster Southern Open on Lake Norman this past weekend. You might have seen the dude-out bass boats stalking coves and docks around Cornelius. Well, Hall says, that's pretty amazing. I really wasn't expecting a win. Who pulled in $43,533. I entered this tournament thinking I'd get 11 pounds a day. I was actually surprised that I caught what I caught. Hall spent the first 2 days in Mountain Creek, where he targeted docks in 10 to 20 feet of water. Then on Sunday, he fished docks in marinas in Davidson and Ramsey Creeks. He caught most of his fish on a homemade half-ounce Arky-style jig with a Zoom twin trailer. Using green pumpkin and orange for the head and skirt allowed him to leverage two common forage items. So congratulations to Cody Hoyle of Rutherford being the winner of that bass tournament. Other news from here and there this morning. Saturday night, 10 local high school seniors competed in the Distinguished Young Woman program at Rutherford County at the Foundation. Kennedy Ruff was named the winner and will compete in the Distinguished Young Woman program, North Carolina. She's a senior at RS Central High School. Her talent is dance. Emma Neal, Distinguished Young Woman, Rutherford County 2021, presented Ruff with the winner's medallion around 10 p.m. As the new DYW Rutherford County, Ruff received a $4,000 scholarship. Kiara Kimmick was the first finalist and received a $2,500 scholarship, while Emma Long was second finalist and received a $1,500 scholarship. Ruff now advances to the state competition, which will be held in Greensboro, January 28th and 29th of 2022. So congratulations again to Kennedy Ruff. Well, the Daily Courier is reporting about one of the school administrators suffering or through a breakthrough case of COVID-19. It's been about 10 days since Brad Teague left quarantine for COVID-19. The Rutherford County Schools Chief Operating Officer is among the growing number of people who are fully vaccinated and following pandemic protocols who still became sick with COVID-19, which is what is commonly called a breakthrough case. Teague said, I'm absolutely glad I took the vaccine, and I continue to encourage others to do the same. He says the vaccine is the reason that his symptoms were mostly mild. He didn't become violently ill and didn't have to be hospitalized. So he encourages everybody to take that. As of Monday, there had been 16,235 COVID-related deaths in North Carolina. This includes 282 Rutherford County residents, and nobody ever reports on how many folks there are that don't get it. There's always reporting those who do. Other stories around from here and there this morning. More than 175 employees of North Carolina-based Novant Health has been terminated after not complying with the company's mandatory COVID-19 vaccination program. Novant officials said last week that around 375 workers were suspended for defying the new policy. On Monday, spokesperson Megan Rivers said in an email said nearly 200 additional workers came into compliance and confirmed that the others who failed to do so were fired but did not give exact numbers. Officials said the terminated workers had the opportunity to comply over a 5-day unpaid suspension period. Novant Health and Atrium Health announced in July that the health systems would require all workers to get the vaccine. Novant employees were given until September the 15th to get the shot. Workers who have started a 2-dose vaccine series will have until October the 15th to get their second dose and remain in compliance according to the health system. Over 99% out of nearly 35,000 Novant Health employees are in compliance with the health company's policy. The Winston-Salem-based system includes 15 hospitals, 800 clinics, and hundreds of outpatient facilities in that respect. So there you go. Do a little quick survey, if I may, Todd. Right now, I'll ask you folks, those over here listening right now, do about a 10-minute survey. Do you think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone? Yes or no? All we ask you to do is respond yes or respond no. Do you think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone? Call 287-3356, and let's get a feel of how you feel about that. A lot of folks say yes, everybody ought to do it. Some folks say no, it's a free choice. So I'm interested in what your thoughts are. Should the vaccine be mandated for everyone? 287-3356. 287-3356. And we got about 10 minutes to go on that, and I'll start the old clock right now. It's running. 287-3356. Let's go to a quick survey. Do you think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone? Call now, yes or no. Rutherford Physician Practices announced that their women's health practice, Rutherford Premier Women's Care, is now offering care at a new location. The practice is expanding to serve the growing health care needs of the community. To accommodate the needs of each patient, the office is now located at 175 Tryon Road, Suite A, Rutherford. The new location is sharing the building with the mammography place, Rutherford Regional's Women's Imaging Center. This new location serves as a great hub for complete women's care. And we're asking you to call in right now and let us know how you feel about the vaccine mandates. Should it be required? Should the vaccine be mandated and required for everyone or not? Just yes or no is all we're asking you to respond. Just quickly dial 287-3356 and response yes or no. And we'll tally that up here in about 9 minutes, 8 minutes left over in our 10-minute poll this morning. Meanwhile, a local school district forced a middle school teacher to remove a pro-police flag from her classroom wall. This is in Marysville, a local school district force a middle school teacher to remove a pro-police flag from her classroom wall. But the district allows Black Lives Matter and LGBT messages to be displayed. Now, tell me how that rubs you. The teacher at Marysville Middle School posted a thin blue line flag in her classroom. It was meant to support the police, but according to documents obtained by Jason Ratcho on KTTH, the district's human resources said the flag is a political symbol that could elicit a disruption in the classroom. She was ordered to take it down. But why are BLM and LGBT displays allowed to stay up? I'm asking. While the district refuses to answer that question, the teacher's brother says school's staff indicated anti-police sentiment informed that decision. So what kind of message is that teaching our kids? To disrespect the law but respect Black Lives Matters and LGBT and all the other alphabets, but don't support the local law enforcement? What kind of training is that for our kids? And we got about 7.5 minutes left in our poll this morning. Do you think vaccine should be mandated for everyone? Yes or no? 287-3356, 287-3356. Should it be mandated for everybody? Yes, some of the cities are doing it. New York, for instance, you have to, before you can do anything up there, you have to be vaccinated. And a lot of the rural states and rural cities are beginning to think about doing that as well. Some colleges, universities, you can't get in unless you've had the vaccine. You can't travel unless you've had the vaccine. Is it something you believe should be mandated, required? I'm just curious, and I'm asking you to respond to that. 287-3356. About 6.5 minutes left. Well, claiming a supposed tax gap between what Americans owe and what they pay, a new proposal of President Joe Biden and congressional Democrats would spend $80 billion. Listen to that number, $80 billion, to create as many as 87 new federal enforcement and compliance agents to investigate any financial transactions involving more than $600 and create a federal database to record and monitor Americans' financial activities. According to Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform, said, quote, Democrats want to give the IRS $80 billion and hire 87,000 new agents so they can harass and audit taxpayers and create a new reporting regime that targets any bank account, Venmo account, or financial account exceeding $600 in gross inflows and outflows. This should be alarming, given the IRS has a long history of failing to do its job in targeting taxpayers based on their political beliefs. Congressional Democrats' answer to Americans' frustrations with the IRS is to hire more tax bureaucrats to audit them. You believe that? Hire 87,000 new IRS agents to investigate everyone with more than $600. Well, that smacks of Big Brother, doesn't it? Well, we had about 3.5 minutes left in our poll this morning. The poll we're asking, I hope to get this in. I'll have to announce the results on the bottom half of the After Sports. But we're asking you to think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone, as many big cities like New York is doing, Chicago and some of those others. Do you think it should be mandated for everyone, yes or no? Just call 287-3356, yes or no. And if you call and it goes to a voicemail, just leave it there. We'll check that as well, because when the lines are busy and tied up, it goes directly into our voice message. So we'll just leave it there, and we'll pick that up as well and count that as your response. Here's what the New York governor is saying. She's saying unvaccinated people aren't listening to God. Yeah, before the enacting of New York State's mandate that all healthcare workers be vaccinated, Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul told the congregation of a Brooklyn megachurch that the unvaccinated aren't listening to God. They aren't listening to God if you don't take the vaccination. But you must be listening to God if you want to abort the baby inside the mother's womb up to birth. Now, does that make any sense to any of you? It's okay to abort your baby up to almost to birth, and that's a God okays that. But God doesn't okay you not taking the vaccine. She says, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart one, she said Sunday at the Christian Cultural Center Church in Brooklyn. But you know, there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. So people who are not taking the vaccination are not listening to God. Well, I'm running out of time, but I'll have to shift some things over here. I'll get to it in a minute. We've got a few more minutes left in our poll. I'm asking you, do you think the vaccine should be mandated or not? Call now, 287-3356. You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID Rapid-19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Here now is Chris Francis with the Sheriff's Report.
You had asked me last week about Savannah Dawn Hobbs. She's a 17-year-old that was reported missing earlier this summer. Savannah was in foster care and only spent about a little less than a day in Rutherford County. The detective did speak to her social worker as well as a relative and believe that she's possibly back in Gaston County where she's from. Some relatives that do not have custody of her may be hiding her out, or she's possibly with her boyfriend, Tim Stevens of Gaston County. But I do appreciate you asking. One of those odd situations where she's reported missing from here but has no ties to Rutherford County, but we will continue to work with those folks in Gaston County to make sure she is safe.
Thank you for that report.
Yes, sir. In other news, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 175 calls to service. There have been 14 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 220. Those arrested, Daniel Roy Ledford, 51-year-old male of Rutland, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,500 secure bond. Brandy Brianne Laughlin, 23-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to appear, driving while license revoked, and on a true bill, and received a $1,500 secure bond. Oliver Ray Parton, 47-year-old male of Warrington, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,500 secure bond. Thomas Lee Hitt, 32-year-old male of Ruston, was charged with failure to appear in a true bill, received a $2,000 secure bond. Samantha Rose Oswald, 35-year-old female of Fingerville, South Carolina, was charged with possession of heroin, driving while license revoked, failure to appear, and received a $4,000 secure bond. Larry Justin Boykins, 28-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with true bail and received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michelle Renee Wilson, 50-year-old female of Rutland, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $20,000 secure bond. Andrew Curtis Creech, 39-year-old male of Harmony, North Carolina, was charged with possession of controlled substance in prison and was returned to prison. Addie Marie Browning, 19-year-old female of Ruston, was charged with assault, injury to property, received a $1,500 secure bond. Crystal Michelle Bailey, 43-year-old female of Spindale, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 unsecured bond. Billy Joe Cosby, 33-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with 10 counts of failure to appear and received a $30,500 secured bond. And then we had obtained property by false pretense on Ferry Road. Someone, or the victim, allowed the suspect access to their account to invest in bitcoins, allowed them to take $200, but they took over $2,000 in that scheme and took that money. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
We're tracking a weak frontal boundary. It could spark some showers into the afternoon and evening, but for the most part, we're going to notice our big temperature changes. Highs will head into the mid to upper 80s today. It's going to feel like summer. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 50s and 60s. We do have those temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to the lower 80s and upper 80s tomorrow. As the cold front moves through, we're going to see a transition with our temperatures. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's such a beautiful day. 57 degrees is where we are right now, according to Peter the meter reader. And we're warming up into the 80s and dropping back tonight, about 55 for an overnight low, and nothing but sunshine for the next few days. No rain in the forecast for a while, which would be good for us to have a little sun. Not too hot, not too. The humidity is going to stay kind of low, so it's a great time to be alive, isn't it? 8:31, our sports schedule is something like this. The Braves will be playing tonight against the Phillies, 6:05 airtime. For that, we'll join the pregame following News 13. The first pitch is 7:15 tonight with the Braves and the Phillies, and the Braves and the Phillies again tomorrow night and Thursday night. They do the Phillies. And the Braves will be playing the Mets on Friday night, but we also have a high school football game Friday night. And our game of the week is Chase at Hendersonville. We'll be climbing the mountain this week. We did that last time. We're going over to Chase for that game. And Chase is the team to watch this year. They get a lot of notoriety. A big article in Charlotte Observer paper yesterday, I believe it was, about that team and star athlete there. So be sure to listen to that game Friday night. Mr. Friday Night will be telling us all about that on Friday morning when we have him on with Mr. Friday Night Report. Now, the Saturday is UNC and Duke. That's a 10 o'clock countdown, 11 pregame, 12 o'clock game. And then the Braves will play Saturday evening against the Mets, and that's a 7:15 first pitch. So Saturday is pretty well wiped out with football and baseball. And Sunday is the final game of the regular season for the Braves, and they'll be playing the Mets. That's the regular season final game, and we're not sure yet exactly if they're going anywhere or not. But RS is at Polk on Friday night. TJ is at East Gaston. And our game of the week, Chase at Hendersonville. We're all climbing the mountain. Yep, we got to climb that mountain again to Hendersonville on Friday night. But that's okay. We like following our high school teams and broadcast back home so folks that can't get out and go can listen to it on the radio or on the website at www.wcab59.com. Well, our poll we conducted a little early before we went into break time. We had generated 17 total calls, and I asked you, do you think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone? Should we be forced into that by governments and all that? Should it be mandated? And 17 calls came in 10 minutes, and 16 of you said no, absolutely no. Only one person said yes, it should be mandated. So that's pretty much how you feel about that. Thought that might be the case, but I wanted it down on reference. So we'll know. Rutherford County, at least all the calls we could generate in 10 minutes. We don't stretch it out too long because we don't want folks to call everybody and say, hey, Jim's doing a survey. Call him, tell him this. I want you to hit instantly what you're thinking right now, and we give you 10 minutes to make that response, and that's how we gauge how it works out. And we'll do another from time to time, all questions as they come up. Sometimes I don't plan to hit. Sometimes it just hits me all of a sudden. Do a survey. That's what we did this morning. So 17 of you said no, do not mandate the vaccines. One person said yes, by all means, do it. Well, as I started talking about this before we went into the sports or the commercials and the sheriff's report, the New York governor, I'm reading where she's more liberal than Cuomo was, which is kind of horrifying to think about that. But she's a New York Democrat governor, Kathy Hochul, 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 I guess it is. She was speaking to a Christian cultural center in Brooklyn, New York, and she told the congregation Sunday, she said, you know who they are regarding the people who have chosen not to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. She said those people who are not choosing, those folks who are choosing not to get the vaccine are not listening to God. One more is the day before the enacting of the New York State's mandate that all healthcare workers be vaccinated. Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul told the congregation of a Brooklyn megachurch that the unvaccinated aren't listening to God. She was speaking to this group. She says, yes, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart ones. But you know there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles, she said. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love one another. And how do you show that love but to care about each other enough to say, please get vaccinated because I love you and I want you to live? On Saturday, Hochul said all New York State workers who were fired for refusing to get vaccinated are not eligible for unemployment insurance. On Monday, faced with serious staff shortages, Hochul said in a statement that a state emergency declaration and calling in healthcare workers from the National Guard are options. I'm monitoring the staffing situation closely, and we have a plan to increase our healthcare workforce and help alleviate the burdens on our hospitals and other healthcare facilities, she said. Hochul's office said that as of September 22nd, 84% of all hospital employees in New York and 81% of adult care facility staff were fully vaccinated, according to CBS News. The Monday deadline for all healthcare workers to receive at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine was announced in August by Hochul's predecessor, Andrew Cuomo. So they are demanding that, and healthcare workers will be fired if they don't toe the mark. She talks about loving Jesus and telling friends how much they love each other and loving Jesus, and people not listening to Jesus, but yet they're so adamant about killing babies before they're born out of a mother's womb. Is that talking out of both sides of your mouth or what? I mean, if you think it's okay to allow all of these foreign people in our borders without being vaccinated, without having a place for them to live, just let them go, dropping them off in various states around the country, not being vaccinated, not any legal residents at all. Yet they tell us we should be happy about that. On Friday, the Arizona State Senate released the final reports on the results of the Maricopa County Forensics Election Audit. While the reports made several significant findings supporting former President Trump's complaints about the 2020 election, the corporate media ignored those aspects of the audit to focus instead only on the results of the hand recount. As broadly reported, this is from World News Net Daily. As broadly reported, the audit established there were no substantial differences between the hand count of the ballots provided and the official canvass results of the county. Maricopa County, which represents Arizona's most populous county thanks to its county seat of Phoenix, had provided Biden a 45,000 vote advantage in the state, propelling Biden to a victory by 10,457 votes. So the media presented the recount as confirming Biden's victory in the state. Left unmentioned, however, were the numerous findings of problems with the election and, most significantly, evidence indicating tens of thousands of ballots were illegally cast or counted. A report entitled Compliance with Election Laws and Procedures, issued by Senate Audit Liaison Ken Bennett, highlighted several issues, of which two were particularly significant because of the number of votes involved. But they don't want you to know about that. They don't want you to know about all those irregularities. They want you to know what they want you to know. And then they want you to go home and drink coffee and forget about it. They don't want any of that to take place. Well, I know I'm jumping around place to place this morning, but that's sort of how I think sometimes. My mind jumps from one place to the other, to another, to another. It's kind of like playing hopscotch. Do you ever play hopscotch on sidewalk? You just jump here and then jump here and jump there. That's kind of my mind runs sometimes. So there's no rhyme or reason in my flow of comments. It's just jumping from place to place, like this one right here, for instance. And you know my thoughts on abortion and how terrible, terrible, terrible and sinful it is for folks like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, folks like that, to advocate and push that babies be killed in the mother's womb. In my mind and in my heart, I just cannot understand that train of thought. But on Saturday, over 150 pro-lifers attended the funeral for Guyana John, whose body was discovered in the trash container of the Northeast Ohio Women's Center Abortion Clinic. 2021 State Road in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. The aborted baby, named by local pro-lifers, was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery in Akron, Ohio, during a burial service organized by Northeast Ohio Rights to Life. The aborted baby, approximately 15 to 16 weeks gestational age, was killed by the dilation and evacuation abortion method. On June 4th, 2021, a Red Rose rescue took place at the Northeast Ohio Women's Clinic. And 3 days later, on June 7th, Matthew Conley, a member of Citizens for a Pro-Life Society, who has also participated in Red Rose rescues, made a decision to search the trash containers at the abortion facility. Carefully looking through each bag, he discovered something most profoundly sad and shocking. The aborted baby had been hidden, wrapped up in a blood-stained blue surgical pad used during the abortion procedure. Ironically, those who participated in the Friday, June 4th Red Rose rescue may have actually tried to save this baby from abortion, as well as the faithful sidewalk counselors who were at the clinic the next day. They discovered the abortion clinic trash with several discarded prescription vials and urine cups that contained 33 intact names of clinic patients, as well as biohazard waste such as other bloody blue surgical papers and soil suction cannules used in the clinic's abortion procedure. Northeast Ohio Right to Life with Right to Life of Ohio have filed complaints with the Ohio Board of Health and other agencies. The Interfaith Burial Service participants included Denise Leopold, Executive Director of Northeast Ohio Right to Life, and others. In the Christian religion, there are 7 corporal works of mercy. The last work of mercy is to bury the dead. However, was the first work of mercy this aborted baby will ever know this side of heaven? Guyana John is the reality of abortion, murdered in the womb in the horrific act of violence, and then literally tossed into a trash container. 62 million other innocent human beings have shared this same fate, killed with the sanction of law. If the finding of this aborted child calls us to redouble our efforts to bring an end to legalized abortion, then Guyana John will not have died in vain. We hope indeed it will stir the hearts of many who recognize that poor child snatched away when it indicates that God has a purpose for every human life. And when we snatch that baby right out of God's hands, it's a terrible, 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 terrible crime. And I really cannot justify in my mind any way that it should be done. I just cannot justify in my mind that any time that it's okay for you to use abortion as birth control. Birth control starts 9 months earlier. Birth control starts when people make decisions about whether or not they're going to do this or that. But after you made that decision to do it, and then you try to cover it up with killing the baby once it's got a heartbeat, I just cannot. It tears me up, breaks my heart. I just cannot understand, see how all that happens. It's 8:44. I'll be back in just a moment. Dr. Dewey Dittar is accepting patients at Medical Group of the Carolinas, Family Medicine, Rutherfordton. For Dr. Dittar, being a primary care doctor is more than testing patients, diagnosing ailments, and writing prescriptions. Relationships are the most important part of primary care, and Dr. Dittar is here for you, providing the care you need when you need it, and it's about connecting the people he treats with the services they need. Now accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available. Call 828-286-2302 or visit SpartanburgRegional.com for more information.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
8:45. Just you just tuned in and missed or tuned away and missed the results of the poll that we did earlier this morning. I asked you, did you think the vaccine should be mandated for everyone, as being done in a lot of places? And 17 of you voted. 17 calls came in. 16 of you voted no. It should not be mandated. One person said yes. They should be mandated. And so that person has a right to believe the way he or she believes. You have a right to believe the way you believe in that respect, and you have a right to decide if you want it or don't want it. And forcing people out of their jobs because of it or not doing it, I think is not right. I think it's not right. It has become a political football. If it works good, it works good. But it should not be used as a political football, in forcing people out of their jobs, even out of the military, because they don't want to take it. 846. 9:05 this morning. My Great America with Jim and Butch. I know some of you probably think I dwell on this issue a lot. That's the abortion issue. I do, because I just think we can't say that enough until we convince folks to vote for people who don't believe it's okay to kill babies. I mean, I just don't think it's okay to do that. And as long as I have breath in my lungs and have a microphone and opportunity to be on a platform somewhere speaking, I'm going to talk about this, because I think it's wrong. I think it's sinful. I don't think God ever intended for us to play God, take lives out of the mother's womb and throw them in a trash dumpster somewhere. I don't think God intended. God says He has a purpose for all our lives, and when we deny that and defy that, then we're walking on dangerous grounds. Cecile Richards, the former Planned Parenthood CEO, who made millions presiding over about 3.5 million unborn babies, abortion deaths, criticized Texas last week for saving babies' lives through its new heartbeat law. Have you heard about that? This new heartbeat law makes it illegal to do abortion. And Cecile Richards has the audacity to say this: saving babies from abortion is cruel. Killing babies is building our democracy. I don't make this stuff up, folks. I promise you I do it. These are people out there walking and breathing and voting and making money off of death. She said saving babies from abortion is cruel. Saving babies is cruel. Killing babies is building our democracy. Saving babies is cruel is what she said, folks. In an interview with Kara News, Richard slammed the pro-life law as cruel and described abortion on demand as progress. She said, all of us who have worked in this area for a long, long time have hoped that this day would never come, but here it is. This is a cruel and unconstitutional law. She's talking about a law that stopped you from killing babies. Abortions have stopped almost completely in Texas since the law went into effect September the 1st. The law prohibits abortions once an unborn baby's heartbeat is detectable, about 6 weeks of pregnancy, and thus far no court has blocked it. You hear that little heartbeat? But yet they still want to snatch that baby and kill it. Now a new Texas law stopped that. And she's saying that is cruel to stop that, to let that baby live. Pro-life leaders estimate the law is saving up to 100 unborn babies from abortion every day. In 2020, about 54,000 unborn babies were aborted in Texas, and about 85% happened after 6 weeks of pregnancy. 54,000 unborn babies were aborted in Texas alone. Multiply that by 50 states. To Richards, however, the life-saving law is the opposite of democracy and freedom. She said, I just thought how upsetting it was to think that all the things that we fought for in Texas, building our democracy, better access to opportunities for everyone, that really in one day it just crushed decades and decades of progress in the state. We've made progress in the state because we allowed babies to die. And now it's stopped progress in the state because we've stopped it. The daughter of the late Texas Governor Ann Richards, you remember her? She lamented that the heartbeat law passed the Texas legislature on her mother's birthday. According to the report, Richards said it is unconscionable that millions of women have lost their right to an abortion in Texas. But they have not lost their right to have a decision 9 months earlier. They've not taken that away from you. They've taken away the right to kill that baby, but not making that decision back early in the heat of things. Make that decision then, and you won't be going through this and facing this. She urged people to join in her criticizing the law, claiming that their vocal support for abortion on demand will encourage struggling women. The worst thing could happen is that people's rights are taken away and is silent, Richard said. I know people are afraid, and so it's even more important to speak up and speak out because you can't even know how much that helps people who are really struggling right now. Pro-life advocates are speaking out and offering real help to struggling mothers and babies in need. Hundreds of pregnancies resource centers, maternity homes, and other charities provide free resources to pregnant and parenting parents across Texas. With compassion and understanding, earlier this year, state lawmakers increased support for pregnant and parenting mothers, ensuring that they have resources to choose life for their babies. We have a center right here in Rutherford County, Hands of Hope, that does the same kinds of things. They offer support and help and offer resource center, things the mother expected mother need, like diapers and toys for the babies. Much support for pregnant and parenting mothers right here in our own town of Forest City. Hands of Hope. If you can get behind that and support it, they need support. Planned Parenthood and other abortion facilities do not really help women in need. They sell abortions, talking about it as though they're doing something phenomenal. They're not. They're taking money, they're taking women's money and then killing their unborn children and sending them back into the world to deal with their problems on their own. This is what's really cruelty, folks. Because most women with a heart after it's done, many of them will say, oh, I still feel it in my heart. So it's a thing that we don't need to push away and say, oh, well, it's a woman's right to choose. Well, it is, but it's your right to choose is 9 months earlier and not when that baby's heartbeat starts. I get upset, get started, folks. I don't know. I just wish. But we got so many politicians in leadership like Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, President Biden, and many of the Democrats, most of them, as a matter of fact, as part of their platform stance, so they believe in very strongly that it is perfectly okay to snatch that baby right out of the mother's womb, even after the heart beats, and throw it in a dumpster. As I told about that story a while ago, where they found this baby in the dumpster. Then they gave it a significant burial. In the dumpster. Can you imagine throwing a baby in the dumpster because some woman didn't want her baby? Carried it long enough for the heartbeat to be there? Okay, all right. I guess I've said enough. I know I get carried away, and I don't know how many ever appreciate what I'm doing, what my stand I make, but I make no apologies about being pro-life. I make no apologies whatsoever. It has nothing to do with my political affiliation. It has to do with my heart. It has to do with my knowledge of what little knowledge I have of the Scripture. It's nothing to do with my political affiliation. It has to do with my heart. But I am opposed to abortion. I am pro-life from my head to my toes. And I hope you can join me in that crusade to help spread the word and get the point across that it is not right. All right, let me get out of here and save a little breath for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Butch got a lot to talk about this morning during the show. He's been out and about. He's come back in to report to some mighty exciting things. And I bet you somewhere along the way at that conference on Saturday, they talked about some of the very same things I've been talking about this morning. Don't know that I wasn't there, wanted to go, but I couldn't. But I suspect they talked about a lot of the same kind of things I'm talking about right now. Do a little research if you can. If you go to the computer, you can look up Planned Parenthood and see how many babies they've aborted this year already. All right, 8:55. The temperature is great. The sun is shining brightly upon us here in the beautiful downtown Whiteside Road, and we hope indeed that you can enjoy the day. All right, folks, let's play a little classic oldies music from the man everybody loves to hear. And I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hill testifying about the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley will get the most questions, says ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
Milley has said numerous times that no one gave the Pentagon a warning that the Taliban could take over in just 11 days. But he also had told President Biden, according to those close to him, that he had wanted to leave a small force in Afghanistan. And as for that tragic drone strike, Milley said he was convinced in the beginning that they had hit a terrorist target, but has since said he spoke too soon, but expects some very heated exchange on all of that.
Milley also expected to be asked by Republicans about former President Trump's final days in office and behind-the-scene talks with Chinese about the possibility of a nuclear strike. Beginning right now, healthcare workers in New York must be vaccinated or face termination. And right now, the same goes for New York City's public school employees.
Cleared now by the courts, the city will begin its vaccine mandate at the public schools Friday. That gives teachers, principals, and other school employees a few extra days to get a shot before enforcement takes effect Monday, October 4th. By then, the mayor said 100% of adults working in school buildings will be vaccinated. Unions have raised concerns about staff shortages, but the vast majority of school employees is already vaccinated.
That's ABC's Aaron Katursky here in New York City. A new Kaiser Family Foundation poll on vaccines shows 7 in 10 U.S. adults have received at least one dose of it. However, only 58% of Republicans have gotten the shot so far. The Senate taking a vote and failing to raise the debt limit. Republicans say Democrats could do it by themselves. Democrats say almost all the nation's debt belongs to previous administrations. So they say that both parties should be more willing to go along. You're listening to ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Sentencing this morning for Jared Ramos. He's the man who stormed the newsroom of the Capital Gazette in Annapolis, Maryland, killing 5 people in 2018. Prosecutors want 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole for the attack. North Korea again testing missiles and testing its relations with the rest of the world. ABC's Chuck Sievertson with the story.
North Korea's ambassador to the United Nations, Kim Song, at the UN General Assembly Monday through a translator.
We are just building up our national defense in order to defend ourselves and reliably safeguard the security and peace of the country.
And adding,
we will never violate or endanger the security of the U.S., South Korea, and our neighboring countries.
Hours later, the North fired a missile into the Sea of Japan, reported South Korea's Yonhap news agency. A U.S. official tells ABC News they believe it was launched from a submarine. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Ford now says it is set to spend billions of dollars on 3 new plants to make electric car batteries and a 4th that will build all-electric pickup trucks. It's the biggest single investment in company history. The plants will be built in Kentucky and Tennessee and create nearly 11,000 jobs. And Hurricane Sam, well out in the Atlantic, powering back up to a Category 4. Forecasters say it'll likely curve away from land, but could send dangerous swells and rip currents heading toward the Bahamas, Bermuda, and the northeastern United States. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're tracking a weak frontal boundary. It could spark some showers into the afternoon and evening, but for the most part, we're going to notice our big temperature changes. Highs will head into the mid to upper 80s today. It's going to feel like summer. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 50s and 60s. We do have those temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to lower 80s and upper 80s tomorrow. As the cold front moves through, we're going to see a transition with our temperatures. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It is warming up nicely here in the foothills. Right now, it is all the way up to 60 degrees. We'll be up in the mid-80s and beautiful sunny skies. Perfect day to walk on the trail. If you're new to the area, just tuning in, finding out what's going on, the Rails to Trail is a fantastic way to spend some time in our beautiful Rutherford County. It's 9:05.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch. Welcome back to the Blue Room.
Thank you so much, Jim. And you know what? I've got my purple shirt on. You've got your green shirt on. I think those are complementary colors.
They should be, yeah. If they're not, we'll make it that way.
What I do know is this, is that we've got complementary philosophies and theologies about America. You know, folks, it's well over 100 programs now that Jim and I have done together on My Great America with Jim and Butch. And, our heart from the very beginning was to try to do a Rutherford County version of what Paul Harvey did. You're kind of the Rutherford County Rush Limbaugh earlier in this program. You're Paul Revere. You're Paul Revere riding the horse every day saying the redcoats are coming, the liberals are coming. Yeah, right. And so you get the chance to hear Jim there. And then we are trying to make sure that we point attention to the light and the brightness of what can happen when people let the power of the living God affect their communities. And there's so many great things that are happening, Jim, in Rutherford County. Have you ever had a flat tire?
I've had a flat tire, yes.
Okay, so I had a flat tire on the van. I was gone a week. I came back, and the tire is flat. So it was great. I had help from my dear mentor, Gerald Sutherland. He helped me, had a pump at his house, and so we were able to pump that tire that was leaking, pump it up enough to get it going somewhere. And then, Jim, we talk a lot, I do at least, because our church does it, Word of Faith Fellowship, about John 5:30, where we inquire of Jesus, of everything in our life. And so I said, God, I want to find an inexpensive place to fix this tire. It was a big old nail that got up in there, and how they ever get in there, I don't know. It's like somebody put it out on the ground on the flat part, and for some reason I drove over it. Well, so I inquired, and I felt like God put in my remembrance that there was a place across from the Carolina Cafe. So I drove there, and I roll in, and it was like a big family of very happy, I'm getting a little animated, happy, encouraging people. And I got to talking to them a little bit, and the place right across from Carolina Cafe is called Barnes King Tire. They've been there for 60 years. It was a grandfather who started it. It's an African-American business, owned business. So Herbie and Carmen and Jimmy and Awesome and Lori, the owner, took care of me. They fixed that tire. And then you know what they said? I asked, how much will that be? They said $10.
Boy.
$10. Folks, I want to encourage you, and this is not a paid advertisement. This is part of my family now. I love them. And what we need to do is we need to encourage local small businesses.
Sure, absolutely.
We need to do what we can to patronize them. And in their case, I just, in my spirit, I felt like God took me to the right place, the exact place that I needed to go to. They were friendly, they were helpful, they were encouraging. I even took a picture of that team there. And again, thank you so much. Barnes King Tire, 625 East Main Street, Spindale, 828-287-7284. Herbie, Carmen, Jimmy, Awesome, and Lori, the owner, over 60 years. They're a community treasure, and I'm so grateful that even though it was a flat tire and inconvenience, I'm so grateful God used that to let me roll into their bay and get that tire fixed.
Sometimes a blessing comes out of difficulties.
Right.
You find a difficulty out of a flat tire, but somebody was willing to help you, and you found some new friends.
Well, and they were just so pleasant. I couldn't believe it when they said $10.
Yeah.
You know, and so anyway, we checked them out if you ever need it.
Well, let me ask you before we get to. I know you went to the Faith and Family Focus.
It's some apps. It's
I know you went to that.
Faith and Freedom.
Yeah,
Faith and Freedom, the Salt and Light Conference.
It's on Saturday. I know it must have been awe-inspiring. I wish I could have been, but tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, sure. So I went with WCAB media credentials, and as I was saying to you before we came on the air, what's so interesting is, you have somebody from the Associated Press there or other media outlets, and, the press, the media kind of go, and I see it as a mission field. I mean, there's sometimes some dark hearts there. But they need Jesus, just like we all do. So I kind of flow with them. They had a room that was assigned with a sign that said WCAB. And so the interviews that I did, some of which I'll mention in a moment here, were done in that room. I had some audio equipment that FreightWorks actually generously allowed me to take. And so there were interviews in this room. I ended up doing 11 different interviews. We've got audio content that we're going to send over here or bring on a flash drive, and we'll figure out how to cut some of it into pieces so that in the programs ahead, Jim, we'll be able to give you a flavor of what that conference was all about. Had about 1,000 people there. The speakers included folks like Madison Cawthorn, Mike Huckabee, Robert Jeffers, pastor of the 14,000 member First Baptist Church in Dallas. McCrory was there. Of course, we saw our friend Ted Alexander. He was on a panel. Several incredibly strong African American pastors, black pastors, and the real signal of the whole conference, the real direction of the whole conference was, we have got to be, and we've mentioned this before. We have got to be, if we're pastors, like we're in the Black Robe Regiment. We've got to mobilize people. We've got to start speaking boldly. We have to make sure that we are like Daniel, prophetically declaring truth in a culture, Jim, that is just run amok. And if you don't believe the culture is run amok, all you have to do is get up a little bit earlier than this program and listen to Jim, and he'll articulate and give you insights on what's going wrong. So it was a wonderful time. Let me just highlight a couple of people that in particular I had the chance to meet with, and some of these are going to be guests for us on the days ahead. Now, let me also say this quickly, Jim. My reading glasses broke, and one of the lenses fell out a little bit earlier, and so I asked if anybody had some I could borrow, and the only ones that would work came from Tracy, and they've got rhinestones on them. So as you're looking at me, please don't have a quizzical look. It's just, God provided, and I'm grateful.
They look good on you.
Okay, now, we didn't need to say that. Okay. All right, so one of the people that I had the chance to meet with, of course, the frontline speakers, there was a chance to, with most of them, have some interaction. But you know what? The boots on the ground, folks, are the ones that often are the people that we really want to encourage. So one of the people that I had a long conversation with, his name is Charles Lopez, and he's the chairman of the North Carolina Hispanic Republicans. So he'll be a guest in the days ahead. He was talking about the exciting mobilization of Spanish language people throughout North Carolina who are coming to understand that the lies of the Democratic Party, we're going to take care of you, are simply not true. And that entrepreneurship, the power of hard work, the power of building coalitions together, really comes under the big tent and umbrella of the Republican Party. So in the days ahead, we'll have the opportunity to speak more with Charles Lopez, chairman of the North Carolina Hispanic Republicans. In like manner, I had a powerful interview that we'll play portions of with a wonderful gentleman named Abdul Ali, and he's the chairman of the North Carolina Black Conservative Voices. And so the Hispanic chairman for Republicans in North Carolina, and then the Black Conservative chairman were both people with long discussions, and in both cases, Jim, they expressed tremendous optimism about what's happening at the grassroots level to mobilize the Hispanic community in North Carolina and the conservative black community in North Carolina who have come to understand that, it's like the Wizard of Oz, take no regard for the person behind the curtain. When you get behind the curtain of the Democratic Party, what you find is a lot of nefarious intent. And I was so pleased that both of these leaders for both of these important communities in North Carolina said, you know what, Butch, we're very optimistic about 2022 as we all join hands and work together.
I'm excited to hear some of those interviews because I know they must be powerful.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, they're harnessing some of the power of, like, the head of the Black Conservative Voices in North Carolina has his own podcast, has his own media channel that's growing. So they've come to understand, as we well know, that media defines so many things. Media and Hollywood. And particularly during the pandemic, when you had people at home, you had people that were gorging on just untruth, on absolute lies. And so dismantling that comes with the proclamation of one truth at a time, which is what we're all about. And then I'll mention one other real quickly. Wonderful opportunity right at the end of the conference. And of course, I want to say this with humility, our church people that go places go there and work. They're like worker bees or ants, and we just believe in the biblical injunction that we're called to serve. And so we had a number of our folks that were there, and they were helping break down tables, put up tables, put out flower arrangements, help with serving the food, whatever was needed. And right at the end of the conference, as we were breaking everything down, I saw Brian Hughes walk up the aisle. He is so powerful, and God is using him incredibly. He is in the Texas Senate, and his name is on the heartbeat bill in Texas that is now being used as a template all over the country. And of course, it's the legislation, Jim's talked about it before, remind yourself of this. It's the legislation in Texas that was passed that says that when there's the detection of a heartbeat, for all practical purposes, from a medical standpoint, that is life. And the brilliance of all of this, and he shared something that was so exciting, the legal mind that helped with all of this is a Wheaton College graduate who went on to the University of Chicago. So I was just encouraged that God's using somebody from my alma mater up there in Illinois, 25 miles west of Chicago. Powerful conversation with him. Gave me his personal cell. He'll be a guest also in the days ahead. And folks, we need to remember, with all these national figures that you may see on Fox or other platforms you may hear on the radio, it's people in the trenches that are really doing the work. More than ever before, it's so important that we run for office, that we make our voices known and heard. It is not a time for anybody to be passive in the marketplace. So, and Jim, it was so exciting for people to ask, well, now, why are you here, and what is My Great America? So I had the chance, even with a little sidebar conversation with Ralph Reed, who started Faith and Freedom. Of course, he and I were vice presidents back in the late 80s at CBN for our boss, Pat Robertson, who, by the way, this is an aside, Pat had all of these little quips, Pat Robertson did, and one of his quips was, mistakes can be forgiven, but dumb is forever. And it took me a couple days to figure out what he meant by that. He was a great boss. He was brilliant, and CBN's done good work. But even with Ralph, I was able to, in a hallway conversation, he said, now, what's My Great America? I said, it's a candle. It's a candle in Rutherford County. So he was even encouraged to hear that. It's just so fun to go and represent. I even have a plastic media badge that says WCAB Media, and I'm looking forward to you being with me on one of these.
I wish I could have gone, because there were some great speakers who I admire, like Mike Huckabee, for instance. He's one of my heroes, and I would love to have heard him speak again. I saw him one time in person. And I'm really admired Texas Senator Brian Hughes, because he's bold enough to step forward and do something like this, in spite of all the criticism and lambasting he's getting from the left.
He's had death threats.
I don't doubt that.
He said he's had death threats from around the country. And, he was so humble. Our people remarked about this. After everything was done, he was helping put trash in the trash cans and, finding that humility. And he's a Texas State senator, and he made a comment about Abbott that was kind of interesting, where he said that Governor Abbott down there in Texas, while he's strong in some areas, is riding the fence on a few issues, and he's just a true blue conservative. Brian is, and he was so happy to hear that in Rutherford County we've got Republicans that are here, and of course we're about almost 70% Republican now, aren't we?
More than that.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that now.
You know what?
Changing every day.
Yeah, you know what? I want to tell you this. This is also to say, you know who I love so much is Bud Byers.
Bud Byers.
You know what? Bud will see me at a meeting, Jim, and I know he's done this for a long time. And but Bud will see me at a meeting and he'll say, "I got something for you," and he'll have these spreadsheets where he shows all the trends of who's voting where and what. And one of these times, I'm really caring that we'll have the opportunity to maybe break down the numbers. Now, what's interesting is that we still have a lot of independents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, basically the numbers are, the independents are what, second largest?
That's right.
Yeah. So you got the Republicans, the independents, and the Democrats here in Rutherford County. And
what they're doing is pulling away from the Liberal Party that they used to be a part of, the Democrats. They're pulling away from that and not quite yet ready to jump on board fully with the Republicans, but they're stopping in the middle with an unaffiliated. And many of them later decide to join the Republican Party. That's what they like. They like that philosophy that we're fighting for. And even though they're independent or unaffiliated, many times they will vote for the purposes that the conservative platforms that Republicans are pushing.
You know, and there are people that are migrating from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party for certain. You know, I will tell you that my radical transformation took place because I really felt like I had a visitation from God in a powerful way, where he posed a question. It was in the night, and it was almost like a dream, but not quite. But it was a powerful sense of God saying to me, how can you justify the 60+ million babies that have been killed in this country? Because, Jim, I used to write. See, it says in Scripture that the gifts and the callings are without repentance. They're not revocable. God gave you certain gifts that are gifts that he's given you. And as an act of our will or an act of volition, we can choose to take those gifts and use them for awful, terrible, dark purposes. At a season in my life, that's what happened. So God gave me some abilities to write, gave me some abilities to communicate, but I was writing things like articles that got published on 7 reasons that make it clear Jesus would be a Democrat. I mean, that's an article your co-host wrote that got picked up in places. Or creating the architecture for LGBTQ communities of alumni at Christian colleges and universities all over America. The basic architecture for something called One Wheaton, which is now more than 800 folks that graduated from Wheaton College, you know, arguably the bastion or the Harvard of the evangelical world. These are all folks who are part of the LGBTQ community, including the number 4 person at Oracle. The architecture for creating an alumni association for Wheaton College of the LGBTQ community, I was in the middle of helping to make that happen. So, you know, I've repented of these things, and God's told me, not unlike, anyone in Scripture who's had a radical transformation. The Apostle Paul, you look at how deceived he was. Well, I was deceived, and in my deception, misappropriating and prostituting gifts and abilities God gave me. I've said this to my pastor as recently as yesterday, I was not just somebody sitting on the fence. I was an architect helping builders define how you could sit on the fence. I was luring people and coaxing people into the gray, not remembering the clear articulation of the either or in Scripture. I've set before you, it says in Deuteronomy, life and death, blessing and curse. That's binary. It's door number 1 or door number 2, path number 1 or path number 2. Choose life so that you and your descendants will live. I was creating one color, which was gray, you know, and my grandmother, who died at 99, used to make reference to it as good Lord, good devil. You know, there's some people that's like, yeah, whatever's good for you. Whatever's good for me.
Makes you feel good.
And her way of describing that, when she would grab me by the wrists and look me in the eye and not let me leave. And I had enough respect for her not to try to pull away. She would describe, don't become good Lord, good devil. And we have a lot of people out there like that, don't we?
Yeah, I just thank God that he changed your heart and your life.
You know what?
Because you have so much talent to be distributed and put out there to help all of us learn more the structure of what the quality of life, and that God has a plan for every baby that's being born. He got his hand on them for some purpose, and when we do away with that, throw that away and throw those babies in the dumpsters, I mean, it breaks my heart, tears my heart up.
Well, and one of the powerful principles that God continues to work in my heart, because I'm a life and a work in progress. I've said before, he's had to do major demolition in my life, Jim, so that he can reconstruct something that's purposeful for his kingdom. One of the most powerful principles that I ever learned in my church is that we can't give what we don't possess. We can't give what we don't have. And so the reason that I'm evangelistic, and the reason that I'm so committed to Rutherford County, and the reason, Jim, that I'm committed to our covenant friendship with each other, is that I know that God, in his purpose and his plan, joined us together to be light bearers to the community. And you, with your considerable influence and reputation, and me with a desire and a passion to come up alongside of you and serve you in that, we're called to walk together. It's a song that we sing at our church. We are called to walk together. And one part of that song is, we'll be true friends to each other, speak the truth to one another, open our hearts in sweet communion before you, Lord. And really what My Great America with Jim and Butch is we're just opening our hearts about what God's doing in us, and we're trying to empower you and equip you with knowledge and information and perspective. We've gotten to a place in our culture where people easily say, hey, you know what, we're not a Christian nation. Not true. We've come to a place where people say, you know what, there's nothing I can do. That's not true. We've come to a place where people have said in recent decades, churches shouldn't get involved in politics. That's not true. One of the people that was there was Greg Locke. And he's got a powerful set of things that he says, and he's got a big tent church there in Tennessee. So it was an empowering time for the 1,000 people, red and yellow, black and white. It was a mix of folks from all different kinds of backgrounds, and I was so grateful to be able to go and wave the flag for WCAB in Rutherford County, Jim.
I know we were well represented. I appreciate you doing that too, because
our time goes so quickly. It goes quickly when you talk nonstop, which is what I've done here this morning. My heart's been full, so thanks for letting me do that. Folks, let me remind you that this book is more than a book. It's the greatest story ever told. It's the primer for life. It's the roadmap to take you to where God wants to take you. Let me end with some scriptures, if that's okay, Jim.
Sure.
Okay, this is what I was reading this morning. It's from Ephesians. It'll be familiar. It's from the Amplified version of the Bible. In conclusion, be strong in the Lord, draw your strength from him, and be empowered through your union with him and in the power of his boundless might. Put on the full armor of God, for his precepts are like the splendid armor of a heavily armed soldier, so that you may be able to successfully stand up against all the schemes and the strategies and deceits of the devil. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, contending only with physical opponents, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly supernatural places. Therefore, put on the complete armor of God so that you will be able to successfully resist and stand your ground in the evil day of danger. And having done everything that the crisis demands, to stand firm in your place, fully prepared, immovable, victorious. So stand firm and hold your ground, having tightened the band of truth, personal integrity, moral courage, around your waist, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, an upright heart, and having strapped on your feet the gospel of peace, in preparation to face the enemy with firm-footed stability and the readiness produced by the good news. Above all, lift up the protective shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all of the flaming arrows of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, with all prayer and petition. Pray with specific requests at all times, on every occasion, and in every season, in the Spirit, and with this in view, stay alert with all perseverance and petition, interceding in prayer for all God's people. You want an assignment for the day? It's God's assignment to each of us, Jim. God bless America.
God bless America. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.